Cheers, I do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? Uh, for the purposes of this video, I am the Beer Whisperer and the Whiskey Whisperer, and there is a reason for that. I wrote an article for my January feature called "A Beer and a Shot." And it wasn't necessarily about having a shot with the beer. It was about the beer and whiskey pairing. I know a lot of friends that like the idea, but there are some that don't. One distracts from the other flavor-wise. Where I am the opposite opinion, where is they can complement each other. Who's wrong? The honest truth is neither side is wrong. I think the people that think it distracts, for them it does. They're not able to discern one from the other. But for those of us that do like the idea, it's because we can't taste that. We can feel one beverage complement the other. So the point is basically, I'm not trying to put anybody down. The point is basically that either side is right depending on your point of view. So the beer of choice today is Nudie Suit Porter, Mother's Brewing Company, 5.5%. I chose this one because it isn't a high ABV beer. It is a nice, likable porter. Because I'm not pairing it with a high dollar or bourbon, but one that some may see as rot gut, which I personally don't. But Evan Williams bottled and bond 100 proof, but it is a very reasonably priced bourbon. It runs about $15 a bottle. But for this particular video, I'm going to have it on the rocks, or on the rock, as it were, with one big square cube. No, I don't mind this whiskey. I think it's one of those whiskeys that, because of the price, it lends itself well to a highball or a cocktail. And you can drink it neat, but honestly, to be honest with you, I think it's great on the rocks. The rocks does bring out some flavors and aromas that are, I hate to say not there neat, but maybe hard to discern. I have higher dollar bourbons or whiskeys available, but I think because I'm later in the evening here, in the beer, I just thought for this particular beer, this whiskey would complement. And when I talk about a beer and a shot, that's what I'm talking about. It's not necessarily going high dollar beer to high dollar bourbon. It is picking the right one that complements the other. And there's certain flavors that this beer has, because I know I've had it before, that I think this whiskey will complement. This is why I picked those two. You see what I'm doing here? There's always a method to my madness. I don't tie my shoes without a backup plan. Mother's Nudie Suit Porter, 5.5%. It says a little bit about the beer, but by golly, it's in very little writing. Profile: robust chocolate malt flavor with a balanced hop bitterness. Probably considered a robust porter. You do feel some nice chocolate on the nose. I'm also getting some toffee notes on the nose as well. My video, my camera here hasn't worked on my computer for quite some time. For some reason, it decided to work tonight. So I figured, well, what the heck? I do a live YouTube video. Why? Because I can. There's Shadow the cat. I want to show you her ass, apparently. Shadow's really proud of her keister. Anyway. But yes, there is. It does have the finish. Let me just say that of a robust porter. It's very dry, very clean, more so than an English porter. This is definitely an American craft porter. But here, I'm going to take a drink of this bourbon and tell you why I chose to put the two together. And that's it right there. I'll be honest with you. Some might see a whiskey like this as being bottom shelf or rot gut, and I don't. And I'll tell you why. I'm gonna take a drink and then tell you and show you. Because a rot gut bourbon isn't going to finish that nicely. It's not. It's going to make you. That was very easy to drink on the rocks. Rot guts are barely. Most of them you can't even hide when you're putting them in soda pop. But this even on the rocks isn't bad at all. In fact, I think this bourbon is often overlooked or thought of as rot gut because of the price. A lot of sweet vanilla early on, giving way to some nutty toffee. It is very nice. And again, that's kind of why I chose this because you get a lot of vanilla from this bourbon, where I get a lot of chocolate from this porter. And when I take a drink of that and switch over to that, again, it's like food. One bite of something might complement another. You had those folks that can only eat one thing at a time. Hey, man, if that's your thing. But for those of us that really love food, obviously, yeah, I mean, there are some foods that really play off of each other, and that's what these two beverages do. They play off of each other. And when you're pairing a beer and a shot or a beer and a whiskey together, like I'm doing, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get that right combination. Again, you get those nice, deep dark chocolate notes that this has with a little bit of toffee as well. And then here you've got kind of again those big vanilla flavors, a sweet creamy vanilla along with some nutty toffee like notes. So it all sort of balances together. So there you go. So here's the trick though. I like a bourbon like this on the rocks because that right amount of melt off, right? That right amount of water really brings out certain flavors and aromas. The trick here is that if you let too much water go in, it will turn on you. It'll go the other direction. It will start getting harsh. You will lose flavors. It will become watered down. But that little bit really just brings everything to the surface. Uh, this is a nice, likable. Again, it's only 5.5%. I know most people don't consider 5.5% sessions. Some draw a line at 4, some at 4.5. Hey, whatever. I don't care. But I mean, at 5.5%, it's not a high ABV beer. It's when I can sort of think about sessioning. Anyways, that's a whole other topic altogether. Cheers. And there we go. I did want to finish that though before too much water got involved. So there you go. And to the porter. Uh, this is a very nice. I mean, it's a very nice American craft porter, American craft robust porter. Yeah, check that robust in there, don't you? Yeah. Anyway, it's good. I like it, and it's perfect for the weather that I'm having here in the Ozarks. It is rather chilly on the old Willie, which is why I chose to stay my old ass in the house this weekend. But I am thankful that I had the weekend off. That is very nice. So anyway, I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, BeerVangelist, prolific beer drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom. I'm also Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom. All around good guy. Remember, folks, life is serious. Beer and whiskey shouldn't be. And Shadow passes back. There you go. Hey, treat everybody with respect. Why? Because I like you.